Ladies and gentlemen, it's 6 p.m. here in Cairo. Time for the news bulletin coming to you from Channel 2. This is Lamia Abdesattar and we start with the headlines. Syrian presidency announces an immediate ceasefire in Suwaida. A Turkish foreign ministry source said on Saturday that Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan told U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio in a phone call that the conflict in Syria needs to end immediately. The source said that Fidan said that he supports the constructive role the United States is playing in Syria and Turkey is ready to work with it to achieve a lasting end to the conflict. The source added that Fidan said that Israel's interventions in Syrian territory further exacerbate the problem and that any attack on Syria's territorial integrity, unity and sovereignty also undermines regional peace efforts. On Friday, the U.S. envoy to Turkey said Israel and Syria have agreed to a ceasefire after days of bloodshed in the predominantly Druze area that has killed over 300 people. Hamas renewed its call for nations and free people worldwide to carry out all political and parliamentarian pressures in solidarity with Gaza against genocide till the Israeli brutal aggression ends. Earlier, Hamas armed wing spokesperson Abu Ubaida said that while the group favors reaching an interim truce in the Gaza war, if such an agreement is not reached in current negotiations, it could revert to insisting on a full package deal to end the conflict. He added in a televised speech that Hamas has repeatedly offered to release all the hostages held in Gaza and conclude a permanent ceasefire agreement, and Israel has refused. Arab mediators, Qatar and Egypt, backed by the United States, have hosted more than 10 days of talks on a U.S.-backed proposal for a 60-day truce in war that has laid waste to the Palestinian enclave. 70 Palestinians of those waiting for aid were killed, as well as other dozens by Israeli occupation forces in southern Rafah city, south of Gaza Strip. Since this dawn, occupation forces shot fire against Palestinians near the aid center north of Rafah city. Earlier, the U.S. and Israel-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which took over the running of aid distribution in late May, said 20 people died in Khan Yunis. The previous day, the UN said it had recorded 875 people killed in Gaza while trying to get food, including 674 in the vicinity of GHF sites since it began operating. The Israeli genocide war in Gaza has killed 58,667 Palestinians, most of them civilians. Gaza Health Ministry said that the Strip is witnessing a humanitarian catastrophe and bloody massacres near U.S. aid centers, describing them as death ambushes. The ministry added that the Strip is witnessing a real starvation and acute deficit in food materials and spread of diseases. Moreover, spokesperson of UN Commission for Human Rights Thamin al-Khitan said that Israeli attack on a church used as a shelter for displaced Palestinians is a war crime. He stressed the necessity of committing to humanitarian international law, saying that the Human Rights Council affiliated to the UN is studying the attack on the church that was sheltering around 600 Palestinians. Some of them are disabled. Yemen's Houthi militant group said it had attacked Israel's Ben Gurion airport near Tel Aviv with a ballistic missile, while the Israeli military said the projectile was intercepted after air raid sirens were triggered in several parts of the country. Most of the dozens of missiles and drones the Houthis have launched at Israel have been intercepted or fallen short. Israel has carried out a series of retaliatory strikes. The Houthis have been firing at Israel and attacking shipping lanes. Traffic through the Red Sea has dropped since the group began targeting ships in November 2023 in solidarity with Palestinians against Israel in the Gaza war. Australia's government said on Saturday it had delivered M1A1 Abrams tanks to Ukraine as part of $245 million Australian dollars package. Russian forces staged a mass drone attack on the Ukrainian Black Sea port city of Odessa early on Saturday, setting ablaze at least one multi-story apartment building and killing one resident. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said the attack on Odessa injured 6 people, including a child. He added that Russia launched over 30 missiles and 300 drones during its overnight assault that affected 10 regions of the country and reiterated the importance of air defense provision. A landslide triggered by torrential rain killed at least 3 people in South Korea, the National Fire Agency said Saturday, as rescuers battle to find 3 others who are believed buried under earth and debris. Heavy rain pounding the country had unleashed the landslide that buried 2 houses in a village in southern Sancheong County. Details follow.
A landslide triggered by torrential during the summer monsoon period, but is typically well prepared and the death toll usually is relatively low. Scientists say climate change has made weather events around the world more extreme and frequent. The country has endured record-breaking rains and flooding in 2022, which killed at least 11 people.
MSCI's Global Equity Index advanced slightly while U.S. Treasury yields dipped and Wall Street equities were barely changed as investors waited for corporate earnings and monitored the latest U.S. tariff threats while they digested a mixed economic picture. On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 0.32%, the S&P 500 fell 0.01%, and the Nasdaq Composite rose 0.05%. For the week, the S&P 500 gained 0.59%, the Nasdaq rose 1.51%, and the Dow fell 0.07%. Earlier, Europe's Stoxx 600 index closed down 0.01% and was off 0.06% for the week. Finance chiefs from the group of 20 countries stressed the importance of central bank independence while pledging to boost cooperation in a joint statement after a 2-day meeting in South Africa. In their first communique since last October, the ministers and central bankers highlighted the uncertainty in the global economy caused by conflict, trade tensions, and frequent extreme weather events. The communique said central banks are strongly committed to ensuring price stability consistent with their respective mandates and will continue to adjust their policies in a data-dependent manner. Reaching agreement is seen as an achievement even though communiques issued by the G20 are non-binding. The European Commission proposed a €2 trillion EU budget for 2028 to 2034 with a new emphasis on economic competitiveness and defense and plans to overhaul traditional spending on farming and regional development. The Commission said its proposal amounted to 1.26% of the 27-nation European Union's gross national income, a measure of the size of the economy compared to 1.13% for the current 7-year budget. Most of the funding for the budget comes from the governments of the EU's member countries. The proposal includes a new €451 billion European Competitiveness Fund focused on boosting Europe's defense industry, fostering innovation and supporting the transition of industry across the bloc to clean technology. And to the exciting world of sports, where the Red Devils held their first training session on Saturday ahead of their encounter against Tunisia's Union Sportive Nosirian on Sunday at Mustafa Ben Janat Stadium in the second preliminary round of the CAF Champions League. Marwan Ashur and Wissam Abu Atiyah will not participate in the match for injury reasons, while Wissam Abu Ali will be excluded from the match due to disciplinary breaches. Al Ahly will play also two friendlies against Stade Tunisien on July 21st and Bizertin on July 25 before returning to Cairo. Manchester United have reportedly agreed to sign Cameroon winger Bryan Mbeumo from Brentford in a deal worth an initial $87 million as Ruben Amorim steps up his overall of the team's misfiring attack. Mbeumo attracted Amorim's attention with 20 goals in 38 Premier League games for Brentford last season. Tottenham, now managed by former Brentford boss Thomas Frank, were also chasing the 25-year-old before United's improved offer sealed the deal after their two previous bids were rebuffed. United will pay an additional $6 million in potential add-ons to Brentford. Mbeumo is due to undergo a medical in time to travel to the United States on Tuesday as Amorim's men start their pre-season tour. Well, dear viewers, that's all we have for now. Thank you for watching.